Ever met someone who was super into you at first? Texting nonstop, laughing at everything you said, acting like you're the main character of their life. And then suddenly, boom, they're gone. No big fight, no dramatic ending, just less replies, less effort, less interest. And you're sitting there like, wait, what did I do? Here's the truth most people don't tell you. Sometimes it's not about what you did, it's about how their brain works. Today we're diving deep into the psychology of people who lose interest in others. And trust me, by the end of this, you might stop taking it so personally. Let's start with something simple. Some people don't fall in love with people, they fall in love with feelings. You know that early stage, everything is exciting, mysterious, a little unpredictable? Your phone lights up and your heart does a mini backflip. For some people, that feeling is the real addiction. But here's the problem. Feelings like that, they don't last forever. Eventually things become normal, comfortable, predictable. And for a certain type of person, comfortable doesn't feel safe. It feels boring. So what do? They start losing interest. Not because you changed, but because the thrill faded. It's like they were watching a movie for the plot twist. And once the twist is revealed, they quietly exit the theater. Now, here's where it gets a little deeper. Some people are scared of getting too close. Not in an obvious way. They won't say, hey, I have intimacy issues. Instead, they'll act very interested at the beginning. They'll open up, they'll connect, they'll make you feel special. But the moment things start getting real, like real emotions, real commitment, real vulnerability, they panic, not outwardly, internally, and their brain goes, danger, too close, too risky. So what's the easiest way to protect themselves? They lose interest, or at least it looks like they do. In reality, they're not bored, they're just scared. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine someone who loves swimming, but is terrified of deep water. They'll happily play near the shore, splash around, laugh, enjoy the moment. But the second they realize the water is getting deeper, they step back. Not because they stop liking swimming, but because they're afraid of drowning. That's exactly how some people handle relationships. Now, here's another angle that might hit a little differently. Some people don't actually know what they want at all. They think they do. They'll say things like, I want something serious, or I'm tired of games. But when they actually get something real, they feel confused, because what they said they wanted and what they're ready for are two completely different things. So they pull away, and from your side, it looks like they just lost interest. But from their side, it's more like, I don't understand my own emotions, so I'm going to run. And then there's this one, probably the most common, the chaser mindset. Some people love the pursuit more than the person. They enjoy the challenge, the texting, the flirting, the will they reply suspense. It's like a game, and once they feel like they've won, game over. Interest drops. Not because you became less valuable, but because the challenge disappeared. It's like finally unlocking a level in a game you've been stuck on for weeks. At first it feels amazing, but after a while you're like, okay, what's next? Now don't get me wrong, not everyone who loses interest is emotionally complicated or scared. Sometimes it's just simple. People change their minds, they meet someone else, their priorities shift, they realize the connection isn't as strong as they thought, and yes, that part sucks, but it's also human. Here's something important you need to understand. Interest isn't always stable. For some people, it's like a steady flame. For others, it's like a spark, bright, exciting, but short-lived. And if you're someone who loves deeply and consistently, you'll always feel confused by people who don't. Now, let's talk about something a little uncomfortable. Sometimes we ignore the signs. Yeah, I said it. Because if you really think about it, was the interest ever consistent? Or was it intense, then distant, then intense again? Because that pattern, that's not deep love. That's emotional inconsistency. And inconsistency often gets mistaken for passion, but it's not. It's just unpredictable behavior. Let's add a bit of humor here. You know those people who text like, day 1, good morning, day 2, hey, day 3, vanishes like a magician. Like, bro, did you join a monastery or something? What happened? But jokes aside, that kind of behavior usually says more about them than it does about you. Now here's the part most people don't want to hear. You can't make someone stay interested. You can't perform your way into being valued. You can't overtext, overgive, or overcare your way into someone's consistency. If someone's interest fades quickly, it usually means they're not built for long-term emotional investment. At least not right now. But wait, there's a twist. Sometimes people lose interest because things feel too easy. Yeah, I know. Sounds unfair, right? But think about it. If someone hasn't worked on themselves emotionally, they might associate love with struggle. So when they meet someone calm, kind, stable, it feels unfamiliar, almost suspicious. Like, why is this so peaceful? Something must be wrong. So they leave and go back to chaos because chaos feels like home. Now let's flip this perspective. Instead of asking, why did they lose interest in me? Try asking, what kind of person loses interest this way? Because the answer will tell you everything you need to know. Here's a simple truth. The right person doesn't randomly lose interest. They might go through phases. They might get busy. They might struggle, but they don't just switch off like a light. Real interest grows. It deepens. It stabilizes. It doesn't disappear overnight without explanation. So if someone did that to you, don't rush to blame yourself. Don't rewrite your personality trying to figure out what went wrong. Sometimes you were consistent, you were real, you were enough, but they weren't ready. And honestly, that's not your failure, that's your filter. Because imagine ending up with someone who loses interest the moment things get real. That's not love, that's emotional instability with good marketing. Let's wrap this up with one final thought. People who lose interest quickly often chase feelings, avoid depth, fear closeness, or simply don't understand themselves yet. And you don't need to shrink, chase, or prove your worth to fit into that. The right connection won't feel like you're constantly auditioning for a role. It'll feel like you've already got the part. So the next time someone fades away, instead of asking, why wasn't I enough? Try asking, why was I trying to be enough for someone who couldn't even stay? And trust me, that question changes everything. If this made you think even a little differently, then maybe, just maybe, you're already one step ahead of the people who lose interest without understanding why. And that's powerful.